Hey, hello, and welcome to our Brain Health Solutions class. I'm so excited that you're here. If we haven't met yet, I'm Dr. Alison DiBarto Goggin. I'm a functional medicine physician, and I have been teaching classes on functional medicine for the past almost 15 years. And today we're going to talk a lot about brain inflammation. Actually, that's the only thing we're going to be talking about here today. I skipped over the intro real quick because this is a really big class and I want to make sure that I hit all of your points, answer all of your questions. So make sure to comment below if anything comes up for you, and I'll be here to support you. So, brain inflammation can look like a lot of different things, a lot of different symptoms, whether it's brain fog, headaches, eye issues, maybe see flashing lights or get halos, migraines, mood swings are a big one, and fatigue as well. And not just mental fatigue, like you can't read or pay attention, but physical fatigue as well. And when the brain becomes inflamed, that sends a message through the entire nervous system that we're under inflammation, and that can cause whole body fatigue, as well as issues with maybe the heart, like POTS, or digestive issues like IBS. So you might find that you have a lot of these symptoms and you didn't even realize that it was related to brain health. Root causes are really interesting when we start talking about brain health because here we have infections. Number one thing I most commonly see in my practice is strep, Epstein-Barr, and COVID. So these infections can cross through the blood-brain barrier and cause inflammation. Start an autoimmune attack is really common. Unless you start removing the inflammation, removing the pathogens that are causing this distress, you're not going to see that difference in your brain health or your body symptoms. Trauma, whether it's car accidents, falls, a simple hit to the head, can induce brain inflammation and start to cause damage there as well. And I often also see this with my autoimmune patients. Stress, of course, is a major factor, whether that's emotional trauma, relational trauma, work, not sleeping, any amount of stress can cause, again, inflammation in our brain. Gut-brain axis dysfunction. So the term axis just essentially implies the line in our body that it's working on. So the gut talking to the brain, and it really does this through the vagus nerve, VAGUS, which you've probably been hearing a lot about lately. The nervous system. Everybody has to fix their nervous system. And part of the reason the gut influences the brain is not only because of the immune system functioning and how that talks to our brain and our brain talks to our gut, but our gut is also has its own nervous system called the enteric nervous system, which regulates its own nerves, immune supply, support, movement as well in the gut. But when there's disruption, it can talk to the brain through the vagus, sending up inflammatory messengers to let it know that the gut's not doing well, also causing inflammation in the brain. And then lastly, we have the leaky blood-brain barrier. So if you've heard of leaky gut, where those cells that are supposed to normally open and close, they get stuck open because of this protein called zonulin, and that allows bacteria, pathogens, reactions, immune craziness to go through into the bloodstream. The same thing is happening in the brain. It's not as much as a barrier like a wall, but every blood vessel that comes into the brain is coated with immune cells, and those immune cells protect it from anything coming in and causing damage. But if those immune cells are broken down, they're not working as well. That will allow toxins, chemicals, infections, and bigger risks of inflammation to get into the brain. So again, we just went through this. What's driving all this inflammation? Another thing we didn't talk about is diet. A lot of inflammatory foods, whether it's sugar, whether it's processed foods, whether it's oils, especially vegetable oils, those will all cause inflammation, not only in the gut, but also the immune system, and that affects the brain. Gut health and lack of movement. When we talk about movement, it's not about only weight loss or fitness or looking the way that you want to look. Those are great benefits, but movement is so important for the brain because it helps it engage, it helps increase plasticity, meaning how well those neurons are firing together, creating new brain growth. When I was younger, the big thought was that the brain doesn't change. And if you damage the brain or you have brain issues or you do drugs or there's any kind of, that's the way you're stuck forever. But now what we've learned is that the brain is actually plastic, or it's also called plasticity, meaning it can form new connections and new ways of working. So when we exercise, we're actually forming new ways of working in the brain as well. So it's really important, as always in functional medicine, to get at least your basics done with testing. We want to make sure, one, that we have a good baseline of where you are when you come in and you're starting. We don't want to just assume what's wrong. We want to look at inflammatory markers like C-reactive protein. We always look at glucose and hemoglobin A1C to see what your blood sugar is doing. Blood sugar that is out of control, whether it's because of insulin resistance, diabetes, leptin resistance. There's so many different types of issues. That is a driver of inflammation. Iron and ferritin are really important markers as well because the brain relies on oxygen. And if you have anemia, you might have brain fog, lack of hair growth, difficulty sleeping, because iron is also a precursor for serotonin and melatonin. So this whole time you might be chasing sleep with different supplements or changing up your lifestyle, but the whole time you were iron anemic, and a little bit of iron can help you out a lot. We always want to run a complete metabolic profile to check on your kidneys, your liver, how you're doing there. I always run an ANA for autoimmunity with most of my patients that are coming in because autoimmunity is one of the most common undiagnosed issues that my patients come in with. So we want to make sure to understand how the immune system is functioning. And we can also run antibodies for infections like Epstein-Barr or Lyme, maybe even strep. And when someone comes to me with a lot of brain health concerns, strep antibodies are usually the place that I start as well. We also want to look at hormone balance because our hormones like testosterone and estrogen and progesterone work directly on the brain for mood, for executive function, for performing tasks and sleep. So whether you're male or female, no matter what, we all have those hormones within us and they need to be at the right ratio at the right time. And we can also do stool testing for infections and overgrowth, H. pylori in the stomach, check on immune function in the gut, because that will also tell us what's going on in the brain. So this is a great place to start. In our office, we do accept insurance, so you can have your labs drawn right away. If you are struggling with insurance, you don't have insurance that covers labs, any of those issues, we also have a co-op where we can get blood work for highly discounted prices. So we will find a way to get you supported so you understand what's going on with your body. So let's talk about nutritional strategies for a healthy brain. Now, the number one thing is oils, good healthy fats, I should say, fish oils, olive oil, things like that, because our brain loves fat. Our hormones are um, cholesterol based. So when we're talking about how to improve hormone health, nerve health, and brain health, we need to look at those foundational nutrients that our body uses in order to support those organs and systems. And for all of these, the base is always cholesterol. So if you're doing a low fat diet, you're avoiding fats, you're not taking any omega supplements, you don't eat fish or seeds, you're going to be missing a really big part of your nutritional factors. So we have the EO Mega Plus, which is our omega complex with some essential oils in there as well. I absolutely love this product. Now, they're slightly bigger pills, but what you can do is you can actually bite down on them and they taste like lemon and wild orange. It's so tasty. It's not a problem at all. And then I just throw out the casing because the less pills I have to take, the happier I am. But when I do that, I definitely take my vitamin D, my A, my K, everything gets taken at the same time because that increases absorption. So if you want to make the most of your supplements, taking an omega is going to radically support brain health, hormone health, joint health, um, skin health, all of these things. And it's so easy to do. We want to make sure that you're getting whole foods and things that are high in antioxidants like blueberries, leafy greens, turmeric as well. And fermented foods are also really important because those actually help support the good bacteria in your gut. VMG is our product that is our whole food. So it comes from foods. It's not just chemical nutrients. And it's also in a powdered form, which I love. Like I said, the less pills I have to take during a day, the easier it is for me to remember and take. And so the VMG is actually the doTERRA's Lifelong Vitality multivitamin pack. Instead of taking more pills, it's now in this powdered form. It tastes delicious. It's easy to mix together, whether you use a shaker cup or an electric stir, which is what we do. And with all of these antioxidants, it really helps support healthier levels of inflammation in the brain, but also the whole body. When we talk about neurotransmitters as well and functioning like that, we want to look at all those pre-cofactors like magnesium, we talked about iron, B vitamins. These are all crucial for our brain health. Really, it comes down to, are you getting enough of the basics? And I guarantee you, we aren't. So when we add in products like the VMG, the omegas, maybe an extra B or some magnesium, you're really going to boost those effects in your brain. And then amino acids, which are just protein. So protein is actually a long chain of amino acids. And then when we digest them, we have one amino acid at a time. Those are also precursors for those neurotransmitters. Of course, you already know this. We want to avoid sugars, processed food, alcohol as well, and artificial sweeteners as much as we can. So we talked already a little bit about the E omega and the VMG. So this is just a little bit more information for you. The omegas over here, critical for brain health, healthy respiratory system, endothelial function, which is our arteries and our veins, so that way our heart healthy, our veins are healthy, our cholesterol, which is lipids, are healthier as well. And then the VMG on this side with that superfood blend promotes foundational health and vitality. So you're getting a big mix of phytonutrients, so those plants, antioxidants, vitamins, and minerals as well, with the cellular health support and the immune support as well. So these are absolutely foundational and key for brain health. So let's talk about shift gears into essential oils. So essential oils are fantastic for modulating inflammation or changing it up. So when we look at these big terms here, like IL-6 and TNF alpha, so these are the main processes that work with that are our immune system that can increase inflammation or decrease inflammation. So we have good inflammation, like if you fall and you twist your ankle, what happens to it? It might get a little swollen. It's going to get red. It might get a little warm to the touch. It's going to hurt to walk on. It's inflamed. So you might take some maybe over-the-counter support for that, for pain. That is directly going to work on this COX-2 enzyme. You might put some ice on it. You're going to rest it, I hope. Maybe put some kinesio tape on it. But really, you're getting that inflammation down. But that inflammation process is helping bring more oxygen and nutrients to that area, is bringing fresh blood flow to heal more quickly, and is also using the immune system to help support that. But then we have not so great inflammation, like, say, chronic stress. And our hormones are working overtime. It's upregulating TNF-alpha, these IL-6 interleukins, all of these enzymes that are messing with our hormones, they're messing with our cellular health. We're not able to heal as quickly. It's a driver of chronic inflammation. So instead of having the short burst of all of these things, we're having a long, sustained, high rate of inflammation and immune activation, which then over turn can be linked to autoimmune conditions, chronic inflammation, chronic pain, all of these things that we want to be able to manage, but we have to get rid of the inflammation first. So when we change or modulate, that's what that means, we're able to reduce the chronic inflammation process without any harsh side effects. We're able to work on systemic or the whole body inflammation by suppressing overactive immune or inflammatory responses. We're reducing that oxidative stress because our body should have a short burst of it, but when it's that long sustained, that's when that damage starts to occur. So we drive that down. And then when we can reduce emotional and physical stress as well, we can reduce cortisol. Our blood sugar is not always on this roller coaster ride driving inflammation. We can feel better. So there's three ways to use essential oils. You can smell them directly out of the bottle. You can put them in a diffuser that's aromatic. That's great for brain health because just smelling them into the sinuses, you're getting all of those volatile compounds directly into the brain. So it does work with smell training, focus, attention. A great way to do that is just to put a drop or two in your hands, rub your hands together, and then they call it cupping, and just take a deep breath in. Don't touch your eyes, but be very careful with that. But it's a great way to get a quick boost of support for your body. Topically is a great way to use essential oils. We always say put it where it hurts. So if you have a headache, you could put it at the base of your neck. If a joint hurts or your belly hurts, you can put it directly on there. But for the brain, what we really want to do is make sure that you're getting it on the neck. You can also take a drop if it's internally safe on your thumb and put it on the roof of your mouth. And that will directly also access your brain. Oils can bypass that blood-brain barrier because they are carbon-based. They're not a threat. So they can get to work on the brain and start modulating this inflammation. And then internal use would be either taking it as a supplement, putting a drop or two in your water. You can also cook with oils and you use a lot less, but this is a great way for whole body or systemic inflammation to start at the root and really work the whole way through. So our top brain health essential oils would include rosemary, copaiba, lavender, frankincense, peppermint, and turmeric. So you're probably familiar with turmeric as a supplement, maybe as a tea, as a powder, or a cooking spice, and it's highly anti-inflammatory. Turmeric is a great oil to apply topically. I love to use this for joints as well. It's also a warming oil, and doTERRA created a supplement form of it. So you can take that on a daily basis and you're going to see a great difference there. We'll talk about those in a second. However, I'll throw this in now with turmeric. What I find is that most people are underdosing, especially with their supplements. So you might take one or two a day because that's what the bottle says to do, and that's safe. We like that. But you finish the bottle, nothing changed. None of your symptoms resolved. You don't feel any better. And it's probably because you're not taking enough. Most people's inflammation levels are sky high. It might not be showing up on your labs, but it's showing up in other places because we can't test for everything. We're not going to run every immune test, every marker, every time that you come in, but we are going to look at those basics. So what you want to do is dose up the turmeric until you have digestive distress, meaning a little bit of diarrhea, you're going to the bathroom, and then come down from there. When I share this with my patients, someone just told me like, oh my gosh, you're so right, because my friend had me take like 12 of not doTERRA's, but a different company's turmeric. And oh my gosh, I felt so much better. My stomach was a little upset. I'm like, yeah, exactly. So you had to get up to 12 of these to get the inflammation down, but you saw that difference. You felt better. You saw the digestive distress. So taking 12 is not ideal, right? So we really want to work on looking at all the factors of what's driving inflammation, but at least you know that there's something there that you might need to increase or decrease how much you're taking. So with rosemary is my favorite memory oil. I love to put this in the diffuser. My favorite way to use this is we make homemade Play-Doh with the kids. We don't do it so much now that they're much older, but putting a couple of drops of rosemary and just having the kids play with it, honestly, adding it to slime or even just your Play-Doh is a great way because you're getting a sensory movement in, you're getting that rosemary smell in, and it's so important for neuron connection and inflammation. Copaiba is another great oil. I use this one for pretty much everything because it works on the endocannabinoid system. It's touching every single cell. It's going to reduce inflammation on every single cell. It's going to support hormone health in every single system. It's great for calming brain inflammation just by putting it on the back of your neck. It's also great for mood challenges. Now, when I started using it, it wasn't like, oh my goodness, all of my anxiety is gone. I had to use it for about 2 weeks. I had gone to the dentist. I had an issue, the same issue, but on both sides. And the first time I went, it took 45 minutes. I was a hot mess. I was stressed out. It just took forever. And my anxiety, of course, was sky high. And then 2 weeks later, I had just started using the Copaiba. I had just gotten it in, and I was doing 2 drops a day under my tongue. The next time I went in for the other side, it took 15 minutes. And my dentist was like, "What the heck are you doing? What did you take beforehand?" I'm like, "Oh my gosh." The only thing that changed that mood level was using the Copaiba under my tongue, like 2 drops every day, being super consistent with it. And that is a huge game changer. So not only mood, but mental health, stability, all of those things. So a great general oil to start with would also be Copaiba. Lavender is the queen of all oils. It touches everything, anything that is painful, sore. It's all things calming. So sleep, skin regeneration, stress. It's just smelling it out of the bottle, adding it to your favorite oils in the diffuser, adding it to frankincense for sleep in the diffuser, putting it on the bottom of your feet before you start your day. Any way that you can get lavender in, you're going to see a difference in your health. Same thing with frankincense, it's the king of oils. So this one is known for crossing the blood-brain barrier, going directly to work on the support that you need for your brain. This one I always recommend either using under your tongue, just 2 drops, or putting on your thumb and holding it to the roof of your mouth if you're having an inflammation situation going on in your brain. Again, with this one, the more consistent you are, the better you'll see results. If you use 1 drop, you probably won't notice a huge difference, unless maybe it's an acute situation and you're just putting it on your neck or your shoulders to help with that. But the more consistent you are, the better you're going to see these changes in your brain health. Um, Essential oils have so many different compounds in them, like esters and sesquiterpenes and terpenes and monoterpenes and all of these things. All of these compounds go to work on our body. And when you look at the list of what every essential oil has, it's a long list of compounds that are going to work on behalf of your immune system to support it for your cells for these inflammation processes. So they're wildly helpful regardless of what issue you're struggling with. Peppermint is a fantastic focus oil. It's great to wake up with. Again, putting in your hands and taking a deep breath in. I love to use this one before I work out. I'll add wild orange to it, put it on the bottom of my feet, put on anything that's hurting, that with lavender as well. Maybe my knees are tired or my shoulders tired, and just get to work. Peppermint is really known for increasing the amount of oxygen in our bodies when you take it in, or maybe you put a little bit on your chest. So the more oxygen you have in your body, the better you're going to feel because you're helping all of your cells function. So if you're getting 30% more oxygen in, just think about what that's going to do for your brain, your cells, your movement, and how you're going to feel. Pretty amazing. So what doTERRA has done is also created essential oil supplements. So that way, if you don't want to use the oil or you want to have something on the go, you can have these as well. So they have the turmeric with dual chamber capsules. It does have black pepper and all of the additional support in there. So that way you can make sure you absorb and utilize all of it. It's a fantastic product. We have DDR Prime as an oil and a capsule as well. So DDR Prime is our cellular complex. It has a wide range of oils like frankincense and I believe Melissa, and it really goes to work on the mitochondria of the cells, supporting deep inflammation within the body. This is something that I use as a daily supplement as well. I just take one for general health and inflammation support. Frankincense, again, you have the oil or you have this complex. So it does have the essential oil in it as well as the boswellic acid. So you're getting a wider variety of these supportive compounds for your body. This has been amazing for sleep, for mood, for focus. I take them at night with probiotics and the VMG as well. And it's definitely helped my sleep. Copaiba we call them soft gels. So it's the essential oil in a capsule form. Very easy to take and remember to use as well. And then this is the Mito 2 Max, MITO for mitochondria. So we're getting to that deep levels of cellular health and regeneration. O2 for oxygen, because you're really increasing how your body functions as well as how it uses oxygen. And Max, because we want the max support. So when we take this mito-2 max. We're really working on our energy processes. So if you're struggling with brain fog, memory concerns, the mitochondria in your brain might also need a lot of support. Now, the whole MetaPower, the META-PWR line is geared towards blood sugar support and reducing inflammation. So I recommend this whole line. They have the essential oil soft gel. They also have an herbal capsule that works on supporting healthy insulin levels and cellular receptivity. And of course, if you're getting good fats and less blood sugar roller coasters, you're going to have better brain function, focus, memory, and all of those things. So I love to talk about hormone health when we talk about brain health as well, because not only does the thyroid affect the brain, but also, like we talked about at the very beginning, progesterone, estrogen, and testosterone. So one of the big things I like to touch on is that in the brain, we have two little organs called the hypothalamus and pituitary. And these two are the conductors of our entire body and especially our endocrine system. So the hypothalamus is kind of like taste testing the blood as it comes through. What are the thyroid hormones doing? Where's our estrogen? What do we need to signal? What's going on? And then it tells the pituitary, hey, you need to turn up the volume on the thyroid. You need to turn down the volume on the adrenals. We need to do this. And then the pituitary sends out all of those messengers. So when you look at TSH, the thyroid stimulating hormone, to see if you're hypo or hyperthyroid, that's actually coming from the pituitary. So when we start to work on hormones, we don't want to just focus on the actual hormone. We want to actually look at what's going on in the brain. How are the hypothalamus and pituitary functioning? Why are they talking this way to the thyroid? Why are they talking this way to the ovaries or the testes? There's something going on. So we want to make sure that everything's aligned. So starting with the brain is a great place to start with hormone and thyroid health. So you have my favorite thyroid support there. You can create a roller. So that's like a 10 ml bottle with a little ball in the top. So that way it rolls right over your skin, and create your own blends that way as well. The fractionated coconut oil is a term for coconut oil that always stays liquid. So regular coconut oil will be liquid when it's warm and solid when it's cold. You definitely don't want to create a blend that's solid and then try to roll it on your skin. You're not going to get good dosing of the essential oils. We want everything immersed. So that fractionated always keeps it liquid. Female support, I highly recommend the Clary Calm Blend for hormone support. This is safe for women of all ages, from 6 years old to women who are cycling, to pre, peri, and postmenopausal women, because it balances all of the hormones. We're not looking to force one way or the other to increase specifically one or the other. We want the body to be able to do that on its own. So the Clary Calm will support the brain, the thyroid, the adrenals, and the ovaries as well. Yarrow, which is an essential oil and an herb that you might be familiar with, and POM stands for pomegranate because that's the base that it's in. So it's a little bit more soluble, easier absorbed by our cells. We have capsules and the oil as well. And then Zendocrine liver support is really crucial because the liver is what's taking all of the hormones that have been used to pack them up so we can get rid of them through the bile and then the stool. So if your liver is not functioning, it doesn't have those cofactors like B vitamins, you're not methylating well, maybe you have a genetic issues like MTHFR. These Zendocrine will help create a smoother transition from the hormones to the liver to the bile to the stool. Really important. For male support, there's lots of things that we can do. I always start with Zendocrine as well, and then cedarwood, frankincense, and sandalwood. Just using those on the neck or the low back can be a great way to support male hormones. So daily brain support is key. Again, everything has to be consistent. I know it's a pain, but it is really important. So just like you can't go to the gym one time and look like Arnold, even though I think we all probably wish we could, we have to really take care of ourselves. So when I start with my patients as well, the test is the treatment. So what does that mean? It means that anything you struggle with, you need to be doing more often. So when I have my patients, I have them write, and part of it is neurological testing. So different writing styles, different techniques, different balancing things, touching your nose, moving your hands, as well as different tests for different areas of the brain. So if you are someone who cannot balance, like if you can't stand on one foot, your treatment is to stand on one foot, to start some more balancing exercise, to lean into yoga. Now, of course, safely, please do so. If you really hate jigsaw puzzles and they're the worst thing on the face of the planet for you should probably get one and start doing that. For me, math. Not a fan of math. I am very calculator reliant. So my treatment is to do more simple math and help my kids with their math homework and really up level that math. There's so many apps now that you can play different games to make it a little bit more fun, make it a little bit more different, memory games, things like that. So just 10 minutes a day. This isn't something that you have to dedicate your life to, but really focus on choosing one or two things a day to bring into your awareness. Of course, stress reduction, whether that's exercise, meditation, prayer, breath work, getting a massage, things like that. Sleep and recovery. I know it's easier to say get better sleep, be well rested than it is to actually do that if you're someone who struggles with insomnia. But we all know that it's really important. So helping support your brain pathways, inflammation, serotonin and melatonin, which you now know requires iron, magnesium, and B vitamins, you need to get those in. Using things like lavender before bed, maybe rosemary and frankincense are your keys, and establishing some good healthy habits with your nighttime routine as well. With your essential oils, I tell people keep them out to where you're going to use them. So I have my morning oils in my bathroom. So that way, I brush my teeth, get the clary comb on, a couple drops of copaiba or frankincense, something in the diffuser while I'm getting ready for the day. My nighttime oils are at my nightstand, so that way the Serenity is in the diffuser. I have the Serenity stick. I take my frankincense capsules. It's all right there. In the kitchen, there's lemon and grapefruit and TerraShield because it's now summer. I'm so excited. And my supplements are all in the same place. So find yourself little ways to keep yourself organized because if it's not in front of us, we're not going to remember. And that's okay. We're human. So keep things in front of you. You can find cute, stylish folders so that way it's not cluttery, but make sure that you're getting the nutrition and the support you need in every single day. So where do we start? We have a couple options. So if you're someone who's like, oh my goodness, my gut's a mess, I'm in a ton of pain, I have chronic fatigue. If you're someone with a long list of issues, kind of like me, and what I've been working with, you want to start probably more with the cleanse and restore kit. We want to get the VMG, all of that base nutrition in with the omegas. We're going to work on the liver with the zendocrine, the gut with the probiotics, the PB Restore, and the Terrazyme. You get the DDR Prime in there as well. This is so foundational. Wipe out all that inflammation, support every system for you. If you're someone who just wants to get started with essential oils and start playing with those to see how those work with you, that's fantastic as well. We have quite a few kits, but these two are my favorite. I started with the Healthy Start Kit. They're 5 ml bottles, so they're a little bit smaller. You get 85 drops in them, so they're going to last a long time. So if you're using 1 to 3 drops per use, you're going to get there. And it comes with a diffuser. The difference between the Home Essential Kit is these are 15 ml bottles, so they're 3 times the size, and it's cheaper as well. And you get this beautiful diffuser. This is the one I keep in my kitchen. I love it. So you're going to get a large amount of oils and a variety. So you have the lavender, you have the peppermint. This one comes with frankincense as well. So you're getting the basics to start supporting yourself. Um, Oh, with the Cleanse and Restore kit, you can get the starter kit, or if it's easier for you, because it's a 3-month process, doTERRA's broken it down for us. You can do month 1, month 2, and month 3, so it's not all at the same time. As a bonus for getting started with us, you get a free wellness consultation with me. We can do that online through telemedicine platform that I have, where we'll go through your top health concerns and symptoms, your goals, and create a personalized plan that works for you. I give everyone a free copaiba oil as a welcome and thank you, like we talked about today. So you're going to get that whole body inflammatory support there as well. And we also have an ebook guide for you. So to get started, all you have to do is come to our website here, mydoterra.com/Dr. Brian Deloney. That is for Simply Health Wellness Integrated. You get your consultation with me, your oil, and your ebook. For doTERRA, everyone gets the same discount. It's 25% off. You get a free membership, you get free shipping, and there's no monthly or minimums required. I think that's probably the best part about doTERRA is that we want you to use what you have and get the support that you need first. That's most important. We also have a fun Facebook community that's free where we post educational support. You can always search in there for any topics or issues or comment or post because we're here to support you. So I'm so glad that you joined us today for our class. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments and how I can support you. And if there's anything else that you need from us, please don't hesitate to reach out. If you need help enrolling, you can reach out to our office. I'll put that information in the comments as well. We can do a phone call or a video visit, and I can walk you through that process. So you're not alone. You know exactly what you need to do, and we'll take it from there. Thanks so much for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.